I think we have a development issue. I
That
think
too, yeah.
I mean, because if you think about it, like I remember we had Ed Warner, right? And
Yep.
the 2014 team was just praised, for winning their national championship. And you remember, like, you have a guy in a Jacoby Bourne who just knew he wasn't going to the NFL, was undersized. But what did he have? That dog mentality, and he was developed, right? We also had other guys who have been able to step up when other guys have gotten hurt or whatever, and they have just been developmental pieces. We've seen this. Where's our developmental pieces? And it's not just on the offensive line of the ball. Like I have a question in like every position, every position, linebackers. What's going on? Like, why does it seem like we recruit these top guys, but sometimes they have better careers in NFL than at Ohio State? And it's like we regress the talent instead of developing the talent for them to get better. Because I mean that's just how that's honestly how I feel. I feel like we are having a development issue here at Ohio State. And it is very, very concerning. Because guys are talking, hey, next year, what if we have to go into the portal again for a quarterback? I'm hearing, rumors about, I think me and you were in the same group chat where that was happening. I just like I came into this year like, why would we, Ohio State, need to go into the portal for a quarterback, right? And then we go get a quarterback who, has issues in different areas, right? Then we go ahead and I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, man. I just really feel like we have a development issue, and I just hate to see it, man. I mean, Jack Sawyer, JTT were what top three defensive ends in the class, and we just haven't seen much from them. I don't know if it's because of scheme or what, but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like at this point, I'm questioning everything. I'm questioning development. I'm questioning who you're scouting and recruiting. I'm questioning all of this stuff, and it makes me completely question. It's not really fair to the kids. I'm not really questioning the incoming recruits, but I'm questioning how are they recruiting these kids and what are they recruiting them for, right? Like, I, I just I don't get where it's at. And it's very, very, very disheartening for Ohio State fans to look at and say this is what it's come to. Because at this point, Mike, for me, I think I have more concerns coming out of this game, even though Ohio State won. I think I might have more concerns coming out of this game than I did against Oregon.
yeah, and that's the crazy part. That's why I'm sitting here saying like maybe it was the bye week, right? Because um if you go looking at our first bye week before um our first bye week of the season, right? We didn't come out looking hot at all. We didn't. So is it something about Ryan Day and these bye weeks? Like, are we talking too much and worrying about giving guys rest instead of saying, hey, we have this issue. We need to fix it. And the only way to fix it is good on good, right? And I've been saying, I think for a few weeks now, on this channel, but I've been saying it longer, is the physicality, man. What's going on in practice? We used to hear guys saying that practice is harder than the game. And I'm not hearing that as much, right? Are you hearing that coming from players
We heard
that
Josh Fryer say it one time, but that was in comparison to last year where it was the country club.
yeah, but we were playing cupcakes when he was saying that. Like
Yeah.
my whole thing is when guys were saying this, they were saying this when we were beating ranked teams. Hey, how did y'all come out and beat this top 25 team like they stole something? Like, how did y'all do this? Well, practice is always harder than the games. That's what we heard. Are these guys not doing enough good on good? Are they being told good because they're going up against the scout team and the walk-ons? What is going on? Where is the hunger? because it's not there. Nobody should be beating you in one-on-one situations. Like Zen Mahalski, you're at Ohio State. Some of these things that's going on to me are more mental than anything.
Yeah, no, totally. And when you look at the stats of it all too, 64 rushing yards today for Ohio State. That's not going to get it done in November. You barely got it done in October with that. It's not going to get it done, and it just reaffirms everything that you're saying there. How do you enter into November now? Only 64 yards running the ball against. I'm going to give Tony White his credit. Tony White is a good defensive coordinator. Had a terrible week last week. I think a lot of that was more on the turnovers on downs and the interceptions by Dylan Raiola than it was an indictment on the defense. But still, this was a game where Dylan Raiola was pressured and Dylan Raiola was throwing errant passes, but because you had guys falling down in the secondary, Jermaine Matthews, who I thought he was going to come in and help a whole lot, but he just came in and didn't get he
looked like he hasn't been out there, to be honest. That's what he looked like. Exactly. He looked like he lacked reps.
Right.
and that's the thing is guys, like that's what I have always said. Guys who don't get reps, we can't expect them to go out there and not make mistakes. And that's why it was concerning. And, the last time we were on the channel and we were talking about why we didn't see Jermaine Matthews out there. And, why don't you see Jermaine Matthews out there? Why didn't we see him more when we were going up against those cupcakes? We shouldn't have to see him. He's not the type of player that, you just put him out there when the game's out of hand. No. He's a valuable part of this team. He's a valuable player. He's a talented player. But when you don't get guys reps out there, you can't expect him to just be this world beater. I remember Washington Commander fans just expected Dwayne Haskins, who we heard wasn't getting reps in practice or didn't see him getting reps in games. They just thought he was supposed to go out there and be this world beater with no reps. It makes no sense. You can't do that.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, and there were guys that got reps today that I felt like looked pretty good. I mean, like Kenyatta Jackson had a few plays that he made. Like, I was critical of Larry Johnson, and I don't know if maybe you felt different after the game today. I was critical of Larry Johnson last week, obviously, and the week before, and what was going on there with Jim Knowles. But, I mean, they got way more creative with what they were doing. Now, we referenced it. Part of that creativity came with guys not always understanding their assignments. Sometimes you had guys in the same area, but when things worked well with the defensive line and with the blitzes today, they worked really, really well. It was just the unfortunate part of every now and then you had these lapses. I walk out of this game saying Kenyatta Jackson had a good game. JT Tuimoloau had a good game. Jack Sawyer, the defensive tackles, I come out of this game less concerned about the defensive line than I do about the secondary.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I can't argue with that. And it looked like from the very beginning, they were going to find Denzel Burke,
Yeah, they were.
And they were definitely gunning for him. And you heard the announcers, Joe Cloud and Gus Johnson, saying when they talked to the coaching staff, that they felt encouraged by what they had saw from Oregon. So, I mean, I'm expecting more teams to look his way. Also, Iggy got to clean up. I'm not mad that he doesn't get beat. I'm glad that he doesn't get beat. And I know he's going to get probably a call or two. But I do think that this year I was expecting him to be a little bit less handsy and showing more technique. So that is a bit concerning as well.
Yeah, no, it's concerning for sure. For a lot of reasons. Mike, is there anything you have coming out of this that's positive? I feel like we just kind of ranted and raved about all the negativity and stuff like that. And I do feel like after stuff like this, there is something to be said about getting the win. You probably shouldn't have got the win, but you got the win in this one. I mean, is there anything from this game that you take away as a positive? We got it done. Maybe that looked better. Your thoughts?
I think that the defense can take because I felt it didn't matter who we were going up against. If it was 4th and short, that the offense was going to find a way to probably get it right. And They had that 4th and short right there on the goal line, and they went ahead, stopped the running back from getting it right. I mean, that's something that you can build on, and that's some confidence that you can take away from the game. I think that's a positive, and also just seeing more pressure coming, right? That's a positive. Now you know, hey, we can have a quarterback who just can't sit there. He can't keep his eyes downfield when we bring pressure. Now, what do you have to work on, right? What do you have to work on is the gap integrity, staying in the gap lanes, things like that. So I think that's a positive. And then also, I mean, Jeremiah Smith, man, what's not positive about that? He goes ahead, ties Chris Carter's touchdown record. I was hoping that he went ahead and broke it, but I mean, also, I think Tony Gerderman put out a stat that he's the first player to score a touchdown in the first 5 games. Then he's the first player to score a touchdown in the first 6 games. Now he's the first player to score a touchdown in the first 7 games. So Jeremiah Smith is him, continues to show that. So that's something. And also, Cardinal Tate having his best game of the season. He had 102 yards with 4 catches and a touchdown with a 40-yard long one. I mean, shout out to Carnell Tate. Everybody's been wondering, hey, where's Carnell? What are they doing with Carnell? Well, you see, is really pick your poison. And if this offensive line can get it together, figure out, shore up that left side, where we're taking the injuries at. If they can shore that side up, it's really pick your poison. Do you really want to double JJ? Because Carnell's going to be open. If you try to stop them, Emeka's going to be open. I mean, it's really pick your poison. So that's something to take away from it.
It was a weird day for Emeka. I mean, only 3 catches for 20 yards in this one. He had that catch on, 3rd or 4th down when they came out on shotgun. I mean, terrible play call by Chip Kelly, but Emeka Egbuka made the play. So we'll give him credit for that, obviously. But just a weird day for him. Now, we did have the 2 long passes. To me, that's my positive come out of the game, is that when Day said they were launching balls, we can trust him on that the other day because they launched some balls today. Now, I don't know where it went in the second half. Didn't really see that happening. I don't know if maybe Nebraska was just playing some more too high. You can't really see the secondary on the TV copy, unfortunately, so I always have a hard time with that. But I did feel like they were trying to get some bigger plays there at the end, which made me feel good. David Greenshield, his comments a little bit further up there, if you want to bring that up, he said, playing some guys on defense was encouraging. We need to see more snaps for them. It was encouraging, but we are going to see less snaps for Arvell Reese next week because of the targeting penalty there. But you are correct, David. That was encouraging for me as well, that we saw some more rotation on the defensive line. Even though Jermaine Matthews did fall down, we did get to see him get in the game after Davison Igbinosun was honestly just holding too much and had too many penalties out there. Now, I don't know if all of those were exactly warranted, but they were at least calling them both ways. They weren't letting the offensive pass interference get away with it either.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely felt like the Big Ten was they were watching that for our game. You know what I'm saying? In a couple of them, I felt like it was a makeup, but and one of the penalties, I'm like, they shouldn't even threw a flag. It was ridiculous. Again, the Big Ten offensive officiating trash. Even for Nebraska, when they got the first down, and it's like they ruled it not a first down. The officials got to get this stuff together. It's really sad how much these officials are having an impact on these games. I definitely don't like it. But another thing, Emeka only having the 3 catches, I contributed to Ohio State just not being able to have the ball long, man. I would say
3rd quarter they had it for what, maybe 5 minutes total?
Yeah. I mean, Nebraska definitely won time of possession by more than 11 minutes.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
that's what happens when you can't run the ball, right?
Yeah.
So, so for me, it was obviously you're glad to come out of it with a win, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Ohio State drop in the polls, which is fine. You're going to be playing Penn State. You're going to be playing Indiana. But, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you have to beat Penn State. You have to beat Indiana, obviously, but if you're not looking impressive, then it's not going to help you at all because if you get 2 losses and you look like this playing against teams like Nebraska, you're not getting yourself into the college football playoffs, which I don't think that's what we should be concerned about here at Ohio State. You should only be concerned about losing 1 game at most in the regular season, which has been the case the past few years, but it shouldn't even be a consideration with how stacked this roster is and how much talent there is. And it's a direct reflection on the failures of the coaching staff in my mind. And I'm not going to believe they're going to fix anything and do anything right until I see it.
Yeah, and I really wasn't on like the natty or bus train, but I was definitely expecting like win Big Ten championship, make a good run in the playoffs or whatever. And like I said, it just looks like we wasted a lot of time in the offseason not correcting the right things. But I will say this, Buckeye fans, like I said, what you can do is this. I'm about to tell y'all what I'm about to do. You can go ahead and look at this as, hey, just coming out a little bit sluggish, not playing in the game after a bye week, right? If any of you all like this, like me, I'm a griller. Grilling brings me peace. So I'm going to be on the grill, probably with a glass of whiskey. Y'all go ahead, enjoy yourselves, man. The best thing about getting this win, you get a chance to get another one. We're on the road to Penn State, and hopefully this team can get its act together. A lot of guys were playing in different positions, especially Jermaine Matthews was playing different position and what he's used to playing outside corner. So, I mean, let these guys work at it, and the more reps they get, hopefully the better that they'll be. Penn State had their flaws as well. They went in double overtime, or no, I'm not double, but maybe single overtime with USC.
Yep.
USC was able to run the ball on them. So, I mean, don't be too down. Penn State definitely has their flaws as well.